Hey, welcome. My name is Virginia Jimenez, transformational love coach of virginiainspires.com. And today I'm creating this quick video just to talk about a tidbit, and I wanted to share with you guys on the distinction between love and fear, and specifically under the realm of fear, but also to invite some of you single women to an upcoming event called Love Camp Introduction Session. It's a 2-hour event to support women to go from a place of doubt and fear when they're meeting new people after when they're still in the process of healing from past relationships, to be able to feel empowered and embrace love again in their life. So this whole concept of love camp stems from a space of really understanding if we are showing up in the world from a place of fear or love. You see, because in every interaction, underneath our communication, underneath how we are being in the world, what we're doing and how we're doing it, there stems a underlying factor of either coming from a place of this openness, of being open and being able to receive and give, or from a place of fear, where sometimes there is no receiving at all happening because we're blocking it, or a place of fear of even connecting and in some ways giving because of other things that are in the way. So in general, how are we showing up in our world today? Are we showing up from a place of fear, or are we showing up from a place of love? And this is a distinction that I've talked about in the past, and it was very general. It was just like, when we come from fear, it's almost like you're spewing out this negativity, but when you come from love, there's this positivity. And I kind of wanted to revisit that conversation, but add an element to it, because you see, there is this idea that positive vibes only are the thing, right? Extremes. Let's consider that an extreme of it also means avoiding. Sometimes that means avoiding the things that we fear the most, the conversation that we fear the most, the opportunities that we fear the most, and yet we might crave for those things. So I wanted to kind of share a distinction under the realm of fear alone, because fear is something that is important, and it's important to address and not completely pretend that it doesn't exist. When I think of fear with myself, with things that I've experienced in the past, especially as it pertains to relationships, I think of, is this a result of really the fear of creating something that's just unknown, that's exciting? Or is it the fear of really getting hurt? Is it the fear of rejection? Is it the fear of the unknown that has to do not with what I would like to create, but what I would like to avoid? If it's that type of fear, then I urge you to consider, in what ways can we start recreating possibilities where we can look at the fear, distinguish, is this in support of what I'd like to create? Not only that, but discern how valid this fear is now. Because you see, fear, especially if it stems from the past, from an experience that you've had, an experience that somebody that you know has had, from your environment, that the context of what caused that fear to take place then may no longer apply right now. And so it's important to kind of distinguish and discern where this is coming from and how valid is it right now, where you are in your life. I want to leave you with that information because, again, I think that it is important. I believe it's important to come from a place of love. But I also think that our fears, we should really address them and see firsthand, like lay it out there and see where it's coming from and how valid is it now? And is it in support of what you want to create in the future? The reason I'm even sharing this is because of my event Love Camp coming up, because Love Camp, this was all created because of my past, because of my experience with fear. See, fear was something that I didn't even want to address. I didn't even want to look at. I didn't want to look at the fear that I had about relationships. So much so that I just had walls, and this became part of my personality at some point. I decided subconsciously that this was me. I am that person that makes it, difficult to have interactions when it's not in a friendship level, but when it's to have a relationship. I was that person that was like having these rules where the rules of engagement, meet somebody 3 times and that was it. I'm never going to talk to them again. This is true story. And I realized that that's not what I wanted to create in my life. In fact, I had written at that time, years ago, I had written a story, very, very beautiful story. I painted a picture for myself of what I wanted to see my life look like, feel like, and be like, and who I wanted to be 15 years from the moment that I wrote that story. And I would revisit the story every about 3 months or so, maybe twice a year. At some point, it started to kind of decline how many times I would look at the story. But I looked at it, and at some point, several years ago, I revisited it, and I thought, this story, while it was beautiful, and I could really smell the environment that I was in, not only feel it and sense myself there, I could see myself there. It was beautiful, the depiction, but it was missing something. And I had to get real with myself. And I said, basically what I saw that was missing was that I was not in partnership with anybody. I was alone 15 years in the future. I did not write somebody in my story. So I had to stop and ask myself, why didn't I do that? Was it because of love? Was I coming from a place of love when I wrote that story without somebody else in it? Did I really want to exclude and stay alone? The answer was no. Of course, that's not what I wanted. So why did I do it? Because at that point, I was looking at where I was and what I had experienced, the pain, the betrayals, the not only my own experience, but I started to look at the experiences of other people around me, people that I'm connected to, people that I love, even people that I didn't know that well, that from a distance I felt that I thought relationships, oh my God, they just seem so deceiving. I don't want that. I didn't want that. And so my story that I wrote then did not include somebody because of fear of not wanting to experience that part again. But when I got real with myself, I know that I wanted to experience the other parts of it because I deserved it, because I am a loving person. And I'm sure that you are too. Or that you know somebody that's a loving person that has shut that light down within themselves because they're looking back. They're paying attention to what took place. And because of what took place, in the context that it took place, they don't want to foresee that happening in their future. And I get it. And that's why I say fear is important, because we don't want to recreate it. But what if we gained some of the tools? What if we felt a space of being able to heal from what took place, being able to forgive ourselves for whatever we may be lingering within us? What if we actually were able to discern even better the next choice that we decide to do in our loving relationships? What if we felt that empowered, that we were creating a space right now in the present where we're showing up from a place of love? Because we can see the love, because we believe in it. Because even if we experience what we fear, we know that we can stand on our own 2 feet again, emboldened and with grace. So I share that with you, and I invite you to consider when it comes to the future relationships that you want to create. Do you see yourself coming from the place of fear of what happened? Or are you showing up from a place of love and possibility? I would love to support you in continuing this journey of embracing love, of feeling empowered, and of moving forward gracefully. So if you're that woman, a single woman, that this story resonates with, visit my website, virginiainspires.com, and check out Love Camp. I'm going to have an intro session to Love Camp on December 16th. It's happening at the Center for Social Change. And to sign up, just click on the link and submit your form. If you have any questions, feel free to enter the questions within the message. I look forward to connecting with you and supporting you in embracing love again.